Continuing on in our disorderly conduct criminal charges in Arizona series, today we're asking the question, what actually goes on in court? What happens in court after you've been arrested for disorderly conduct? We've talked about how a person or why a person can be charged with disorderly conduct. We've talked about what happens after the arrest. Today we're talking about what takes place in court. Disorderly conduct may seem like a lot of nothing. The charges typically arise out of very, very minor altercations or situations. So what actually happens in court? We're going to tell you. Let's dive into it. Disorderly conduct, it's one of those charges that encompasses a lot of different activities, and a lot of the times when people are charged with it, it's because of something very minor. It's a minor altercation, it's an argument that took place, it's a fight but not really a fight, it's some words that are shouted when people are out at a sports game or out at the bars, and so they'll be a little bit concerned. They'll wonder, why is it such a big deal? Why am I going through all of this when the underlying incident was just so stupid? Unfortunately, it is still a crime in Arizona to commit disorderly conduct. It's a Class 1 misdemeanor, and it's going to follow the same rules of criminal procedure as any other criminal charge. Class 1 misdemeanors in Arizona, those are the same as a DUI. So even though this may seem like something very minor, it's going to follow the same process as though a DUI would or a domestic violence offense. So there's a couple things that happen. Number one, after an arrest, you may see a judge. If you have seen a judge and a judge does what's called an arraignment, then the judge is going to tell you what the maximum charges or maximum potential penalties are for this particular charge. As I said, it's a Class 1 misdemeanor, so 6 months jail, $2,500 in fines, 5 years probation. Those are the maximum penalties. The judge needs to make sure that you're aware of that. If the judge does your arraignment and releases you, your next court date is going to be called a pre-trial conference. If the judge doesn't do the arraignment, then you still have to go through and do the arraignment. Sometimes people are arrested and they're released without seeing a judge. In that case, your next court date may actually be the arraignment. So if you go to the arraignment on your own, the judge is going to do what I just said the judge does. They're going to read you what the maximum penalties are for that charge. If you hire a lawyer, the lawyer, if you wanted to work with our office, we contact the court so that you don't have to go to the arraignment. In most cases, we don't need you to go to the pre-trial conferences either if you decide to work with us. But the way that it works is the judge will arraign you. Then we're going to have a series of court dates that take place from there. We're going to have a pre-trial conference, sometimes 2, 3, or 4 of those, depending on the nature of the case. What we're doing is we're working your case up just like we would any other criminal charge. We want to get police reports. We want to get witness statements. We want to get surveillance footage. We want to see what the government has in their file. Remember, at this point, you are still innocent. Throughout the entirety of the process, unless you plead guilty to the charge or unless you go to trial and lose, you're innocent throughout the entirety of the case. I want you to remember that because some people think that that's not how it works. So the government still needs to prove their case against you. They need to generate the evidence. They need to bring it forth and then prove their case. So what we want to do in order to build our defense is see what evidence they have. Usually in these types of cases, it's fairly weak. Disorderly conduct takes place when we're talking about big altercations in big groups of people. The police typically are just rounding people up and taking them into custody. They're not doing a real thorough investigation. And because disorderly conduct, because the charge is so broad and so wide, it can really encompass a lot of different activities. So there are ways where we can get in there and say the evidence just doesn't match. You have the wrong person, you don't have enough evidence, somebody else was the culprit, somebody else was the aggressor, and our person, the person being charged, was just simply responding to the situation. So we have a number of different pretrial conferences. Prosecutors will oftentimes offer a plea deal, and so we want to see what that plea offer is. We want to develop our mitigation, we want to develop our defenses, and we're going to have a number of different court proceedings where a lot of that is being hashed out. We're communicating, we're filing motions, we're receiving documents from the prosecutor's office, we're discussing plea deals, we're discussing potential resolutions, we're discussing things like restitution, witnesses, victims. We want to get everything out on the table so that we can review it and then make our counters, make our responses, file our notices of our defenses, and begin our negotiations with the government. It's going to take place, these cases are typically resolved in about 3 months. It depends on the court, depends on your background, and it depends on the nature of the charges, but there are a number of things that can be done. So an attorney, by and large, because these are misdemeanors, can represent you throughout the entirety of the process. You may need to go to court one time at the very end of the case. You will certainly need to go to court if your case is going to be scheduled for a trial, but on all of those different details, you're going to want to speak with your team, your defense team, about what you need to do and when you need to do it. If you or somebody you know or love has been charged with disorderly conduct and you're sort of having this anxiety, having this fear bubble up inside you because you've got a court date coming up, give our office a call. We offer free case evaluations. We'll have you come in, we'll sit down, we'll review the facts of your case. We'll see how we can help you through this. Our criminal team only practices criminal law. That's all that we do. So we help a lot of people with disorderly conduct charges all over the state of Arizona. So you literally have nothing to lose. So give us a call. We'll have you come in. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and thanks for watching.